Well, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's staying nice and dry. I'll tell you something else out here in the desert. Ever since December, we're just getting more rain than I've seen in my 26 years, 27 years living out here. Nice, steady, saturating rainfall. The hills of the desert are turning green, if you can believe that one. They've gone from brown to green, and I haven't seen it like this, like I say, since I lived out here. Grateful for the rain. We need it. We need it. We need it. We need it. Big snowpacks up in the Sierra is going to help our water for the rest of the year, and hopefully we're out of our drought. Hopefully we're out of our drought. So I'm going to finish this month. We're still in chapter 2, the reparenting. And as I was going through this yesterday, there's so much information in this reparenting, valuable tools to help. Hey, Laura, so many valuable tools to help us regain ourselves, find ourselves, take that inner child inside of us, and nurture him and bring him back to life. And it's really hard to pick one thing out and talk about. I posted something earlier, but I'm gonna read another paragraph that I like. It says, "We are taught how to grow up, get a job, and be a good provider, but we are never taught how to deal with our inner child. We don't understand that impulses that feel like self-sabotage are usually the mischief of our own neglected and hurt inner child." Now, I know for a lot of people, this is it can be really funky. The inner child just doesn't sound right to a lot of people. What do you mean inner child? And that was my first thought also when my therapist was talking about we need to get to your inner child. I go, you're out of your mind. What do you mean inner child inside of me? And we actually have them. And actually, for a lot of recovering people, and people that maybe aren't even in recovery, that inner child has been in control of our life for a long time, and rightfully so, because most of us, and I speak in general terms, I know that, so if it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you, but we never had parents to show us how to be adults. Our adult role models were kids themselves. I mean, my stepfather he was just a kid, a broken kid. He throw temper tantrums when he got mad. That's what his rage was, because nobody taught him how to be an adult. Nobody taught him how to deal with his emotions. And just like me, nobody taught me how to deal with my emotions. So I had this inner kid in me that was scared to death in this adult world. So I was just pushing my way through life, trying to figure it out. And I did a good job. And for a long time, that inner child saved me. And for a long time, he worked really well with me. Well, then there comes a time when it don't work. And when it quits working, it quits working. So we got to change. So that's what this chapter. I mean, this chapter is phenomenal in that way. A gentleman I'm working with right now, he bought my book and he's been reading it. And we sat down the first time we talked about the inner child, and he got my workbook too, and he's doing some work on the inner child, that little non-dominant handwriting. And he looked at me. Said, "This is crazy, Randy. I don't know if I can buy this." So that's all right. It's all right. Just take your time. Do what you want, a little bit at a time. You don't have to buy it all at once. I understand that. Then he come back the next week, and he goes, I now I understand it. Now I understand it. So it takes time. And there's some, in my little, in my book, The 7-Day Challenge, there's a little exercise in there for the inner child you can do as well. Non-dominant handwriting is pretty amazing. It really gets you in touch with that little child inside of you, which we all have. So I would really encourage you to buy my book and explore for yourself how the inner child is still running your life as an adult. It's detailed out in there. It's very reader friendly. And like everything else we do in life, have an open mind and be willing is the key to anything. Might not apply to you. I don't know. That's for you to decide, not for me. So, but it's there. So now today's post. Today's post. You know, it's never too late to have a happy childhood. And I had actually one of the contributors to my book says you can never have your childhood back. That's not a good thing to put in your book. Well, no, we can't have our childhood back. I agree with that. The childhood's gone, but we can certainly start today having a good life and having fun with that inner child of ours. So I wrote from, it's on page 48 is a page I wrote off of. It's never too late to have a happy childhood. It's a subtitle in Reparenting, which is chapter 2. Where I wrote, for years, I did everything wrong. I sought validation through sex, money, approval, and obsession. That's where I thought I had to get it. When those failed me, I turned to alcohol and drugs. In the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it's kind of the opposite way around. We do the drugs and the alcohol. When that failed us, then we went to sex and money. But it's all there. It wasn't until I became consciously aware of what that emptiness was really stemming from that I was able to truly address it. I needed to reparent myself. No other human being would be able to give me the time, attention, or understanding that a functioning parent would have. But I could give those to myself. I couldn't go back in time, but I could give my inner child a better, happier life starting now. So, just welcome to everybody. There's a lot of people popping on. I'm glad you're all on today. So, that inner child's in every one of us, like I say. And when I first, let me just go through all this first. One thing I'll tell you for sure is that the inner child work is something that you don't want to just dive headfirst into. You want to preferably do it with a therapist or somebody that's done the work himself and knows how to do it. But you want to take your time getting there because, in fact, as long as one is using or drinking to alter their state of mind, this work is not suggested because you can't. You're convoluted. You don't know who you're talking to. You got the drugs and the alcohol. There's no way you can fully access that inner child inside of you. And it wasn't until I found out for myself that no amount of alcohol or drugs would ever permanently take away the pain and shame. So I kept on trying to fill this with this pain and the shame, the drugs and the alcohol to kill that pain and the shame. And there is absolutely no amount of drugs or alcohol or sex or money that will fill that hole in my soul. It's not going to happen. I was going to have to do all the work myself. I was going to have to walk this journey and do whatever it took. When I walked into treatment, I didn't care what I had to do because I was tired of living the way I lived. Yes, I was successful. Yes, I had all the toys. Yes, I could go wherever I wanted. Yes, I was set for life at one point. Yes. But where I wasn't set was my soul, my spirit. I had a huge hole in my soul that no matter what was empty. So it wasn't until once I got all the alcohol and drugs out of my life that I was able to start working on all my abuse-related issues. We talked about it when I was in therapy a little bit, but we never went into the deep work until I got sober. For that first year, I was still lying about my drinking and using stuff. I can't be honest with my therapist and the people I'm working with about my lying and my drinking. How can I be honest about doing good work and getting in touch with things and feelings and inner child that I don't believe is there? So the drugs and the alcohol have to be removed. We can be in treatment. We can be, you can be 2 weeks clean and you can start working on this stuff. It's not a problem. In fact, I was speaking at a facility today, and all of a sudden, they're saying we can't touch this trauma for a year. And some experts say that a person must have at least a year of sobriety before starting this work. And yet we disagree. I disagree. It needs to be addressed right away. And not only does it need to be addressed, when it's addressed and when they want to bring it up, that person needs that special trauma work so that when they leave wherever they're at, they can be introduced into a therapist that can deal with this stuff, and or a special group, sexual abuse group, like it happens to boys. We have our groups twice a month. Okay. If not, they'll end up like a kid I was working with, Kerry, who committed suicide after about a year and a half after getting out of treatment, because he was triggered. When he got out of treatment, he didn't have the tools. No fault of anybody else. No fault of anybody's. He just wasn't given the tools when he got out of that treatment facility. He got triggered. He drank, and he struggled for 6 months to a year, and he finally committed suicide because he wasn't given the tools. So we believe, get to it as soon as possible. And here's the thing. Here's something that's really important. You don't just deal with it. I'm 12 years into my recovery, and there's some people on here watching this that they're still working on it themselves. This is a lifetime of recovery because of the damage that is done by sexual abuse. So I've heard too many people say, well, I dealt with it. I don't have to do no more. I talked about it with my 4th step. I talked about it in therapy. Without exception, everyone that has told me that has either committed suicide, attempted suicide, why have them on the phone, and or relapsed. Some made it back, some didn't. So this is a lifelong journey. You might go along feeling really great for a long time, and then all of a sudden something comes up, you get triggered, you're going to have to go back and do some more work. It's no big deal. It's really no big deal. But we got to get to this as soon as we can. You don't have to have a year of sobriety. You just got to be clean of the drugs and the alcohol. That's all that I can say. Just to kind of reiterate in a different form, this is a long road, and the jury's not harmed by a slow and gentle start. We never push nobody. Never do we push anybody. If they come out, they talk about it. If they want to keep talking, we talk. If they need to pull back for a minute or some time, we let them pull back. But we're always watching them and making sure they're okay. Treatment facilities are going to develop treatment programs for each individual client. So we just gotta be aware of what's going on with each individual person. Okay, it's a long journey. It's not a sprint. So it was about a year after I was doing the intense work with Deborah that I was finally willing to do whatever it took. Because that first year I was lying about my drinking and using, and I'm not drinking, I'm not using. I just have a little bit of alcohol now and then. When the reality is, I hope Deborah doesn't watch this, there's times I went in there high on cocaine. So when she was trying to counsel me, so that doesn't do no good to do any kind of work. Okay, I'm so grateful. I'm really grateful that I was willing to take that first step toward healing my inner child. Part of me that had been hurting virtually for all my entire life. So, got a note here. I'm sorry, give me 1 second. I kind of dropped the ball on you guys. I got to refer to the book right now. Because the inner child, like I said, there's so much in here. You just don't know where to start and how to do it. So I'm just going to give you a little bit more here. If I can get this computer working. I'm so sorry. This was not supposed to be like this. La-di-da-da. Well, while I'm stopped here right now, the ride across America is progressing very nicely. This week, my training's been kind of screwed up because of this weather. But that's to be expected. We've hired a marketer that's going to help us market that to help hopefully get us in places across the U.S. a little bit easier. So we're having a fundraiser on if you're out here in the desert, May 6th at Trainer Connection. We're we're gonna have a big spaghetti fundraiser. My wife is putting that together. So, um, all right. So, you know, I told you I thought that the inner child was kind of funky, and here's the deal with the inner child is that with Deborah, the first time she had me do this, we were in her office, and hey, what's up, David? We were in her office, and she says, "Okay, you wanna do this inner child?" I go, "Sure, why not? I mean, I got nothing to lose." And I can remember I was sitting in her chair, and she had me close my eyes and just kind of in a meditative state. She was very gentle talking, and I can't remember her exact words, but she coaxed this little inner child, and all I could see was a door opening inside my heart, just like a little flap opening. And behind this door, to me, my inner child was a stick child. And in all my journals after this, everything was a stick child. That was my inner child. I saw this little kid with his head just kind of, he was peeking behind the door, real slowly coming out, looking behind the door. The sad face, the scared look on his face, And I couldn't believe what I was seeing, And I just remember the expression on his face. He was terrified, didn't want to trust anybody. He was desperate to be loved, The key thing is the whole time, Deborah was just reassuring me that everything was okay. But I remember that inner child telling me, this is exactly what he says, "Are you sure it's okay to come out?" He was so scared and untrusting, so broken and unheard. So most of that first hour was just spent on helping him feel safe enough to bolt, not to bolt back into the shadows. One of the other things he said to me, and this is all very true, and it's like, "Are you sure it's okay to come out?" He'd been in hiding behind me all this time. He'd been back there only raising his head when he wanted to throw a fit when he wasn't getting his way and things weren't going his way. He said, "Are you sure it's okay to come out?" And he just was real cautious. And he was so scared and untrusting, so broken, and so unheard. That's a repeat. I'm sorry about that. He says, are we going to be able to trust you? He asked if he was going to be able to trust me. Am I going to be able to trust you to take care of me? That I can remember it. Just in the quietness of the meditation. Am I going to be able to trust you, Randy? Are you really going to protect me? We've trusted others before and we've been hurt. So are you really going to be able to protect me this time? So seeing this part of me, man, it was devastating. I was so sad, and suddenly understood where all those years of self-condemnation were coming from. I remember doing some non-dominant handwriting, which is a powerful way to get in touch. It sounds really weird, but it gets you in touch with a non-primitive part of your brain where it just flows out. And it sounds weird, I know it does, but I can remember one time you just write. You don't rush, you don't do nothing, you just be quiet, you sit down, you let your left hand, your right hand, left hand do the work. And I can remember this one particular time, he was taking so long to write. And I kept getting frustrated, and I wanted to take the pen back, and we had an argument between the two of us. And he said, "You see, Randy, that's your problem. That's your problem. You're impatient. You never let me have fun. If you don't get what you want right away, you take your stuff and you go the other way. You run, you quit, you give up." It was so powerful, that conversation, and so meaningful. This was probably 5 or 6 years ago. It was so profound. That's exactly what I would do in life. Like, I wouldn't let that little kid have fun. If I couldn't do things perfect in my life, then I would just say, "Okay, I can't do it." Instead of just doing it and having fun. Instead of playing in the ocean and dancing in the ocean with my wife and don't care what anybody thinks. And it sounds silly, but that's what we're supposed to do in life. We're supposed to have fun and be free. Yeah, there's a time for everything. I mean, we don't go to a board meeting and dance on a table. Hey, I'll let my inner child come out. We're having fun today. So this inner child piece is really important in recovery. It really helps you get back in touch with that little inner child. It starts a healing journey that is deeper than I ever thought, to get my self-confidence back, because that inner child's a jokester, right? And so he's going to take over when I was feeling uncomfortable. So if I was not confident in something or feeling challenged by somebody or somebody's opinion I didn't get along with, that inner child would come out and take over in a childish way. We're adults. We have to behave like adults. That means we don't throw temper tantrums. That means it's okay. That means it's okay if somebody has an opinion different than ours. It's just an opinion. It's their opinion. That's okay to disagree. It's okay to agree to disagree. It's no big deal. But for a lot of survivors, and especially for me, it was a big deal. But today it's not. So anyways, this is a great chapter in my book. You can get it at Amazon.com. You can get my book and my workbook on Amazon. You can get my book also at Destiny Church Library, just Destiny Church Bookstore in Indio, California. They got books over in the store there. My book just got put at the Betty Ford Book Center, so it's getting spread out more and more. There's a couple books in the local Barnes and Noble here in Palm Desert, as well as my websites. My CourageousHealers.org website should be up, not this week, next week for sure. They sent it to me last week. It all looks good. There's just some refining of things we got to do. But once that gets up, it's going to be a really friendly, user-friendly website to use. We'll have some more additions on there. Right Across America. I'm still looking for donations. If you guys are following me on Facebook, Kathy did this thing where we're putting 1 liter or 2 liter Coke bottles, plastic Coke bottles. We slap a sticker on it, one of our stickers. Let us know. You take it home for 90 days, fill it up with your change, and bring it back to me. That's a great way. A lot of people are doing that right now. The spaghetti fundraiser, April 22nd, 4 to 8 p.m. At Trainer Connection in Palm Desert. We'll be pre-selling tickets for that. That'll probably be here in the next month or so. We'll get those tickets out. A lot of raffle prizes. So that's happening. Let's see what else. I think that's about it on the ride. But if you're interested in donating, I don't care if it's $5. I'll take $105 every day. So just contact me personally on the private message on Facebook, or if you know me, you can call me or email me, or you can go to GoFundMe.com/StompOutShame and donate there. ChangeYourLifeStoryNow.com, ChangeYourLifeStoryNow.com. That's my life coaching page. Please check that one out. I'm taking clients right now. We got a little office set up here in the house, so I'm able to do it right here in the house for the time being, hoping to grow out of here. This whole ride thing also, we're trying to really get Courageous Healers Foundation off the ground. Hopefully in the next year we'll be able to, this ride will boost it enough, we'll be able to do that. And May 6th, we are doing a forgiveness workshop. Here at the house on May 6th. I'll be posting it. It's on the website right now, but I'll be fine-tuning it. A lot of people struggle with forgiveness, don't know what it means to forgive, don't understand forgiveness, what forgiveness is, what forgiveness is not. So we're going to cover all that in this workshop. I just did a 2-day one not 2 day, it was 2 sessions at Betty Ford with the patients over there, and they really got a lot out of it. So I think the price on that's going to be $35 a person. It'll include, a small lunch, like snacks, like we always do. I'm hoping that it gets big enough so I can move out of the house. That's my goal. So if you go to my website, ChangeYourLifeStoryNow.com, and just click on workshops, you can start registering for that now. Okay. So I think I've covered all my bases. It just seems like, and I know a lot of you are just local, but March 24th, we are having our 9th annual It Happens to Boys Conference. Man, it's been 9 years. 9th annual. It's going to be in Austin, Texas this year, which we are really happy about. It's been right here in the desert, but people are wanting us to come out of the state now, which is really good. John Lee, Leo Booth, Dr. Harry Hirtani, Jerry Mull, myself, Danny Marquez, Scott Smith, and then Carol and Robert. We're all going to be talking and presenting. So it'd be great to see. Well, it's a long drive, but if somebody's ambitious and they want to end up in Austin, Texas, go to creativechangeconferences.com. creativechangeconferences.com, and all the information is on that website. And I think that covers it all. So y'all have a super blessed evening, a super blessed rest of the week. And remember, if nobody tells you they love you today, Randy does. But more importantly, we got a God in heaven that loves us all. Thanks, guys. Be blessed. Well, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's staying nice and dry. I'll tell you something else out here in the desert.